RAM wires review 3. Hello everyone, my name is Vapechilla, and today we'll be reviewing 3 sets of wires from RAM wires. Before we start this review, I would like to thank Boss Ben for providing the wires that I'll be using in this review today. The juice that I'll be using today is called Suave. It tastes of very sweet melon popsicles. You can find this juice at VapeQuest, so make sure to get it while stocks last. Anyhow, on to the review. The wires that we'll be reviewing today are the Fuse Clapton wires. They come in 28, 26, and 24. One thing to add about these Fuse Claptons is that they are pure N90, meaning the core and the outside. So before we start this review, I'd like to mention how I'm going to be reviewing them. First off, I'm going to be using the same mod and the same RDA with the same set of batteries. Just to take note, I've got full bats in this brain box. Second off, each coil is going to be exactly the same. 3mm guide, 4 loops, and of course dual coil. So let's start off with 28 gauge. Here is the temporary packaging for the Fuse Claptons. Inside you'll get your wire, and that's it. As you can see, this is some of the thinnest Fuse Claptons that I've ever worked with. So to speed up this review, I won't be doing any build laps or anything, so here is the 28 gauge Fuse Claptons. Test fire. Wow. Just because it's a 28 gauge, don't underestimate it. With 4 loops around a 3mm guide, dual coil, it came out to 0.13 ohms. So, how does it vape? Quite nice. Personally, I underestimated these coils, just because I thought it was 28 gauge, it was going to be weak. But it actually wasn't. Apart from the flavor and the amount of clouds it gives for 28 gauge. One thing I really do like about these wires is that they seem to have a popping effect. Now see if you can hear it. When you're vaping on it, you don't feel a steady flow of vapor going down your throat. You can actually feel it popping, which I quite like personally. However, there's one negative thing about this wire. Being 28 gauge, of course, it's really soft. When I'm wrapping it around my guide, the thing is, it kind of doesn't want to compress. One way to counteract this is if you grab one end of the coil and you grab a plier on the other end, then carefully tug on it so that the coil is tight against the guide. Be careful though. Being Fuse Claptons, you could easily unravel it by accident. Anyways, moving on to 26 gauge. Axel, please. Thank you. So a lot of you might be asking,
that's not the same RDA.
Technically it is. It's a head atomizer. Exactly the same thing. The reason why I'm using a different one is while I'm reviewing, my friend Axel is building. Otherwise, if I did this myself, it would probably take an hour. So here we have the 26 gauge. Test fire. Ow. How does it vape? Who knew the jump from 28 to 26 would be so huge? This is a really strong build. Definitely not for beginners. So 26 gauge has the flavor and better clouds than 28 gauge. And one thing better about 26 gauge than 28 gauge is that it's easier to build. When you're wrapping it around your guide, it's actually quite stiff. But there is a downside to it. With a dual coil with 4 loops around a 3mm guide, you are going to get a 0.07 build. Definitely not for beginners. This wire is a beast with clouds and flavor, but use at your own risk. It's a really sub-ohm wire. And now, moving on to 24 gauge. 24 gauge, please. Thank you. So here we have the 24, get out of here. Here we have the 24 gauge build. So let's give it a test fire. Let's see how it vapes. This is an extremely powerful wire. So what do I like about it? I really like this wire because it's a really cloud chasey wire. The clouds that you get with this wire are incredible. Also, when you're building with this wire, you'll find that it's actually pretty easy. It's a very stiff wire. The flavor that you get with this wire is also really good. However, on this build, I got a 0.05, which is extremely low. For 1.5 meters of Fuse Clapton for 200 pesos, I think that's a really good bargain. I've used most of these wires for a while now, and I've noticed it has a really good durability. If you don't get sick of your build, you could use it for a month, and the ramp up time is incredible. I would say it's damn near close to instant. So that's pretty much all there is to the fused Claptons by Ram Wires. So if you'd like to pick up a set of these wires, make sure to contact Ben Abenohar on Facebook or Mafia Vapors. So make sure to get them while stocks last. So if you like this review, make sure to subscribe down below to stay tuned for more videos in the future. If you have any questions or comments about the fused Claptons, make sure to comment down below and I will reply. I also have a Facebook page where I post extra content, so make sure to visit that in the description below. Till next time.